Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to take a look and review the rules for the Idoneth Deepen Soulraid Hunt Spearhead in Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Today's game is played on the fantastic battle mats from our longtime supporters Mithras Games. Top quality battle mats from New Zealand that have a variety of different designs that can suit almost any battlefield you could imagine. Our formation in this box set is made up of our General, which is an Ishran Soulscryer, our units, 3 Achelian Morsar Guard, 1 Achelian Alapex, and 2 units of 5 Namati Thralls. For our battle traits, we have the Tides of Death rule. In each battle round, all friendly units have the Tides of Death passive ability that corresponds to the current battle round number as shown. Battle round 1, this is low tide, and the effect of this is subtract 1 from hit rolls for all shooting attacks that target this unit. Battle round 2 is flood tide. This unit can use a run ability and still use a shoot and or a charge ability later in the turn. Battle round 3 gives all units the strikes first with high tide. And battle round 4 is ebb tide. This effect has us being able to do a retreat ability and still shoot and or charge later in the turn. All in all, a bunch of different abilities that make each turn a different sort of way to play. You sort of come in, go for your attack, and move out later in the game. Moving on, we have our Regiment Abilities, and like all, we get to pick one of the following. Now we have Way of the Cresting Wave. This is a passive ability, and it adds 1 to the rend characteristic of melee weapons used by friendly Namati Thrall units that charge in the same turn. This is pretty solid, as getting some extra rend on the Namati Thralls is nice, as they are the most populous unit we have. Now Ether Sea Predators is the other ability, and this can be used at the end of any turn, and this allows us to pick a friendly cavalry unit that used a fire ability this turn and heal D3. Now we do only have 1 cavalry unit in the form of our Morsar Guard, but they are going to be our really big heavy hitters, so maybe potentially wanting them to have some extra healing is a good way to keep them alive and in the fight longer. Next, we have our enhancements, and as always, you can give one of these to your general. The first is Arch Ritualist. This is a passive ability that adds 1 to the save rolls for your general's Ritual of the Creeping Mist ability. We'll get into this ability properly later, but it is a pretty decent ability, but this doesn't make it too much of a sure thing. Steel Shell Armor, try and say that 5 times fast, is a passive ability that the effect ignore all modifiers to save rolls for your general, both positive and negative. A general doesn't have a great save characteristic, so the fact we lose out on positive ones for me is making this a no. Mind Flare, once per battle, any combat phase, you declare this and you pick an enemy unit in combat range with your general. Until the end of the phase, attacks made by that unit can only score hits on an unmodified roll of a 6. I think this is a really good one. This can keep your general alive so much better than Steel Shell Armor, so away I would go. However, Delicious Morsels is an interesting one because this can be used in your hero phase and you can heal 1 to each friendly cavalry unit within your general's combat range. This is going to be very hard because your general is quite slow compared to your cavalry, but the healing here, maybe can make up for the fact if you don't pick Ether Sea Predators or double down on the healing for them. For me, I would be going with Mind Flare or Arch Ritualist. I think the ritual that you do get, while it's not a sure thing, is probably the best thing to be buffing. Mind Flare will protect your general really well for a single turn though. Our first unit is our general, and it's the Ishran Soulscryer. 5 health, a movement of 6 with a 5+ save and control score of 2. The model actually has a decent range attack with a Scryfish Shoal, a 10-inch range, 8 attacks, 3s to hit though, 5s to wound, no rend, damage 1, and the shooting, combat and companion abilities. For, a nice little extra bit of shooting, it's not terrible. The Abyssal Touch in combat is pretty standard for wizards, at least for elf wizards, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, damage D3. Where this model really comes into it though is with the ability Ritual of the Creeping Mist. This is used during your hero phase. To declare it, you pick a visible friendly unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target and roll a dice. On a 4+, until the start of your next turn, that target unit cannot be targeted by shooting attacks unless the attacking model is within its combat range, and then obviously we'll need shoot in combat as well. This is a pretty cool little ability, and obviously we can turn that 4+ into a 3+ to make this work 66% of the time, 2 out of 3 times, so a solid little ability. Next are our heavy hitters, the Achelian Morsa Guard. This is one of 2 different build options in the kit, and really no one's going to tell you you're wrong if you build either option that you want to out of the kit. But the Morsa Guard do have 4 health each, a movement of 14, 4+ save, and a control score of 1. In combat, they've got quite a decent amount of attacks. Their Volt Spear has 2 attacks with 3+ to hit, 4+ to wound, Rend 1, damage 1 with the charge +1 damage rule, so on the charge there'd be damage 2. And the Fang Mora's Fangs and Lashing Tail put another 3 attacks at 4s to hit, 3s to wound, Rend 1, damage D3 with the companion rule. Now they also have the Biovolactic Blast. This is a once per battle ability that can be used during any charge phase. To declare, you need to pick a unit of your Morsa Guard that has charged, and then pick a unit within 1 inch of them to be the target. Then roll a number of dice equal to the number of models in your Morsa Guard unit. For each 4 to 5 you inflict 1 mortal damage on the target, and for each 6 you inflict D3 mortal damage on the target. You do get to add 1 to each of these rolls, however, if your Morsa Guard are outnumbered by the enemy. So this means you'd be inflicting the D3 mortals onto a large unit with a 5+. Now they also have the Cavalry keyword, and something really fun, they have the Fly keyword as well, able to ignore vertical terrain on the battlefield. Next is the Achelian Alapex. 8 health, 12-inch move, 4+ save, control score of 2. This is pretty beefy for a model in Spearhead. It's got its ranged weapon, the Razor Shell Harpoon Launcher, which is an 18-inch range 2-shot, 3+ to hit, 2 to wound, Rend 1 damage, 3 weapon that also has anti-monster +1 range. Pretty decent for a shooting weapon. In melee, it has its barbed hooks and blades, which have 4 attacks, 3s to hit, 4 to wound, Rend 1 damage 1, and then the Alapex's Ferocious Bite for 3 attacks at 4s to hit, 2s to wound, Rend 2 damage 3 with the companion special rule. The ability Bloodthirsty Predators as well is a passive ability, and this allows you to add 1 to the attacks characteristic of the unit's Alapex's Ferocious Bites, taking it up to 4, if it's within 6 inch of any damaged unit or is within 6 inch of any enemy units that have had enemy models slain this turn. Like the Achelian riders on the Eels, this model does have the Cavalry and Fly keywords as well. Last are our Marti Thralls. 1 health each, 6-inch move, 5+ save, control 1. They're pretty standard elf infantry. The Lanmari, their giant weapons, have 2 attacks each at 3s to hit, 4 to wound, Rend 1 damage 1 with the anti-infantry +1 Rend special rule. Then they also have an ability called Sweeping Blows, which is quite fun, and this is a passive ability that actually adds +1 to the damage characteristic of their Lanmari blades for attacks that target an enemy monster. It's actually get benefits against infantry and monsters, though slightly different abilities. What's fun here is we also have the Reinforcements keyword as well, meaning these units can come back on the table after they've been destroyed. We hope this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar Spearhead, and that it was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to start your own force in the game. If you have any other questions at all, please comment them down below. And while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server to check out all of our future Warhammer Age of Sigmar content.